Everybody ready? We'll get started. All right, good to go. All right, so with that, we'll call today's Architectural Review Committee to order. So first we'll open the consent agenda.
Do a roll call first.
Yeah, we'll do a quick
Thank
roll call.
you.
Committee member Hunter,
Present.
Vice Chair Palmer,
Here.
Chair Turgeon,
Present.
and Committee member Sanders.
Here.
Staff present today are Planning Manager Hill, Principal Planner Sabdo, Principal Planner Roveri, and myself, Recording Secretary Arganbright. Information on participating in this meeting and providing public comment, including remotely by Zoom or telephone, is on this meeting's agenda, which is online at monterey.gov/agendas. Remote commenters will be muted until it is their turn to speak, and a timer will be shown on the screen. If you are connected on Zoom, the timer is accurate with no delay. In the chamber, we recommend keeping phones and devices muted to prevent audio interference with the meeting. Thank you for participating in your city government.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll open the consent agenda. Does any member of the public or committee have any comments they'd like to make for any agenda items?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
And just to confirm, there are no attendees online with their hands raised. Thank you.
Super. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I don't know if we had a second on that motion.
Oh, I'll second.
You can still vote on the minutes if you've reviewed the minutes, if you reviewed the draft minutes. Oh, all right.
Good. Super. All right.
Knew that you had.
Okay. So the minutes were approved. And then we will open public comment for any item not on the agenda.
There are no attendees currently online.
Super. Okay, then we'll move on to our first item. So we're going to consider 1599 Jocelyn Canyon Road, Architectural Review Permit Application ARP 24-0033 and tree removal. Do we need to do this separately? Okay. And tree removal permit application ART 25-0062.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Fernanda Roveri. I will share my screen and give you a presentation. Okay. So as the chair mentioned, this project is at 1599 Jocelyn Canyon Road. It's for a first and second story addition and a tree removal permit. Staff's recommendation is that the ARC adopt a resolution approving the ARP and the tree removal permit. The subject property is shown here on this aerial photo, 1599 Jocelyn Canyon Road. It's in the R120 zoning district, so the single family residential district, and the 20 means that the minimum lot size is 20,000 square feet. The general plan land use designation is low density residential, and the property is accessed by Quail Hill Drive. So you can see Quail Hill Drive is this road that goes up, and it's a cul-de-sac. The lot is 60 feet wide and almost 300 feet long, and the lot slopes down toward Jocelyn Canyon Road. So you can see that it's a long and narrow lot. The applicant is requesting approval of a second story addition. On the left here, you can see this is the second story addition on a site plan. So the existing single family dwelling is 1,204 square feet, and the addition consists of a living and bedroom addition. So an expansion of the existing living, dining, and kitchen area, and a master bedroom suite addition that includes a walk-in closet, a bathroom, and the master bedroom, and a second-story balcony that you can see here I'm pointing to. And on the first floor, which is on the right side, there is a proposed new 2-car garage next to an existing 1-car garage, and space for a balcony that goes down to the ground floor and the driveway. This is the proposed west elevation of the addition, showing the addition. So on the left side is the existing garage, the 1-car garage, and on the right is the additional garage, 2 cars, and above it is the living, dining, and kitchen addition, and all the way to the right is the master bedroom. The addition follows the architectural style of the existing home. The overall form is simple and streamlined with a focus on function over decorative detail. This is the west elevation, and it features large windows for natural light and views. And this is a 3D model provided in the exhibit as well, showing again the 1-car garage next to the proposed 2-car garage and the living, dining, kitchen addition above. This also shows the balconies. And this is the east elevation. This is facing the adjacent property at 1595 Jocelyn Canyon Road. Again, on this side is the master bedroom. The north elevation is toward the top of the hill, so it looks like a 1-story home here. But on the south side, which is downhill, that's where you can see the 2-story element. Again, the south elevation features the large windows and the large balconies that are important to the applicant to enjoy the outdoor space. This is again a 3D model of that south elevation, showing the balconies and the addition. The Architectural Review Committee must make 4 findings for approval of the architectural review permit. The first finding is that the proposed siding, form, mass, and architectural style are appropriate. And staff found that due to the limited buildable area, the siding of the addition toward the front of the property is appropriate. The buildable area is limited to that area right in front of the home. It's kind of a plateau area. And if you continue going downhill, the slope gets a lot steeper. The proposed form is modulated by the variety of hipped roofs, so the various sizes and heights of the hipped roofs, and by the balconies, the multi-level balconies and the railings. And the horizontal trim that would go along the entire facade would break up the 2-story massing. The architectural style is appropriate in that it focuses on function over detail and presents elements of visual interest, such as the variety of the roofs, the colors, and the construction materials. The second finding is that the proposal will not unreasonably impair views, privacy, or living environment. And this property is located, as mentioned, on the downhill location of Quail Hill Drive compared to other homes. And so it would not have impaired views because of its location. The applicant installed story poles and no view impacts were identified. There are existing trees that separate 1599 and 1595 Jocelyn Canyon Road. And so that would limit any privacy or living environment impacts. Also, the proposal meets all required setbacks and height restrictions, ensuring that privacy and living environment would not be impaired. This shows the trees that line the property line between 1599 and 1595 Jocelyn Canyon. You can see that the trees are greater than 20 feet tall and would block views of the addition. The third finding is that the project is substantially consistent with the city plans and guidelines. Staff found that it's consistent with the general plan land use because the use would remain low-density residential. The roof is broken up into smaller areas, reducing visual bulk. And the addition is consistent with the single-family design guidelines in that the addition employs a variation of materials. The stucco and the horizontal trim provide contrast or provide separation of the massing. There's also visual interest through the use of trim details, changes in the wall plane, and a variety of exterior materials and contrasting but muted colors. The fourth finding is that the proposed finish, colors, materials, landscaping, lighting, fencing, and all other exterior features are appropriate. The staff found that the finishes are consistent in that they would match the existing finishes of the home. So the roofing would be charcoal, architectural shingle roofing, the windows, the garage doors, and the stucco would be a beige color, and the trim and roof fascia and railings would be gray. The ARC must make one finding in order to approve a removal of a tree. And that finding is that the tree application needs to be submitted with concurrent development plans, which it was. And in situations where a healthy tree prevents reasonable development of permitted uses, the tree may be approved for removal. Existing development on similar sites in the same zone and having similar topographic and vegetation characteristics shall be considered when determining reasonable development of permitted uses. This shows the tree. It's a 23-inch diameter coast live oak, and it is in the footprint of the proposed addition. As I mentioned earlier, this site has limited buildable area in that it is a narrow lot, and the only real buildable area is right where this flat area is located next to the tree. And here I'm showing that tree, the canopy of the tree is right up next to the existing home, and the addition would be covering the where the tree location is right now. Right immediately south of the tree is a very steep slope, which would make additions in that area very unfeasible. Also, there are existing structures to the rear of the home, which would also make an addition there infeasible. So as I mentioned, the trees in the footprint of the proposed first and second story additions, given that there's limited buildable area due to the site's topography, the proposal presents reasonable development of permitted uses and the tree is warranted for removal. A condition was added to the resolution that a 15-gallon replacement coast live oak tree is required to be planted on site. With that, staff recommends that the ARC approve this resolution. I'm available for questions, and the applicant, the owner, and the project architect are here.
Anyone on the committee have questions? Would the applicant like to make a presentation?
Yeah, just to say thank you for been here to be part of this conference. Yeah, I really didn't have any.
Yeah. Comments are okay. Your name, please.
Monique Caldy, owner and applicant. I just want to say thank you so much to Fernanda. She's been fantastic through this whole process. It's been years that we've been trying to find a proper site, maximize our buildable area, and really minimize the impact on our lot. But this is just the only way to go. So we have multiple trees in the back and trees down on Jocelyn Canyon. So we really look forward to being able to expand our home and have an opportunity for our elderly mother or our adult children to have a place to come home. So thank you.
Anyone online, Spencer? Any other comments from the public?
I don't see any attendees online, but I will remind anyone listening that information on participating remotely by Zoom or telephone is found at monterey.gov/agendas. If you are joining by telephone, dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. There are still no attendees with their hands raised.
Okay. And close public comments. Any discussion from the committee to be had? No? Would someone like to make a motion?
Look, I move that we approve architectural review permit application ARP-24-0033 and the tree removal permit application ART-25-0062 for 1599 Jocelyn Road with the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Wonderful. Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Congratulations.
That is appealable to the Planning Commission. Form is available online in the planning office within 10 days.
Okay. So then next we'll consider 66-98 Mar Vista Drive, sign permit application SI 25-0107.
Thank you.
Presentation.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Christy Sabdo, Principal Planner with the City of Monterey. I'll be presenting 6698 Mar Vista Drive, which is a sign permit application for retroactive approval of one freestanding sign at an existing multifamily apartment complex. The recommendation to the Architectural Review Committee is to approve the sign application for the retroactive installation of one freestanding sign at a multifamily apartment complex. The general plan designation is medium density residential. The zoning is R3 residential medium density multifamily dwelling, and it's located in the Monterey Vista neighborhood. So as background, the previous address sign met the requirements of what an address sign is per our sign guidelines. Has to be 4 square feet and 12 inches in height, and it was that. Was located in this in the right of way. So the sign was changed out without a sign permit. The applicant had indicated that the previous address sign was inadequate. He received complaints from tenants that the UPS and Amazon couldn't find the delivery address for the apartment. Other residents were concerned that emergency services would not be able to locate on the property. So the smaller address sign was replaced with a sign that includes larger address letters and numbers. The city's code compliance officer did send notification to the property owner on March 4th, indicating that a sign permit's required for the sign that was installed. It does not meet the requirements, the definition of an address sign. Address signs are exempt for the sign guidelines. So that would be 12 inches and a maximum of 4 square feet. The sign installed is 11.7 square feet. So just according to the fire code, since this is a new, it's considered a freestanding sign, even though it has the address on it. According to the fire code, new and existing buildings are required to have address identification that is legible and placed in a position that is visible at all times from the street or road fronting the property. The 2022 California Fire Code covers premise identification or address identification. And, you know, there's a number of requirements. We did coordinate with Monterey Fire to make sure that the existing sign does meet these requirements, and it does. In addition, They confirm that the proposed sign location and the size of the lettering, 10 to 12 inches, could be easily seen during an emergency response. And they wouldn't want the lettering to be reduced any less than 8 inches. In staff's opinion, we thought that the lettering was a little big and maybe there's an opportunity to request that the lettering be reduced. But, a difference between 10 to 12 inches and 8 inches is not a whole lot. So we're not requesting that or proposing it. So this is the sign that was installed. It is located in the public right-of-way, requires an encroachment permit and specific encroachment permit findings to be approved by the Architectural Review Committee. So the applicant is proposing retroactive approval of this freestanding sign to identify the address of the property. The new sign is 11.7 square feet. It's considered a freestanding sign according to our sign guidelines. It's single-sided and non-illuminated. The lettering of 6698 is 12 inches high. Mar Vista is 10 inches high, and the sign is 11.7 square feet with a base, solid base. So in reviewing the findings for a sign permit, the proposal is consistent with the purposes and objectives of the sign ordinance, and that the sign serves to identify the apartment complex along Mar Vista Drive. The sign would complement the multifamily property with the purpose of identifying the building. The proposal is consistent with all applicable sign guidelines or has been determined by the ARC to better achieve the objectives of the sign ordinance. The proposal is consistent with the sign guidelines, except that it's located in the public right-of-way, so an encroachment permit would be required. We wrote in a special condition of approval requiring that. The proposed sign is consistent with the medium density residential general plan land use designation in that it would support residential use. And then I'm not going to read this whole thing, but this is the first encroachment permit finding. So the first finding is a sign encroachment permit shall be granted only when, because of special circumstances applicable to the property in terms of location or surroundings, the strict application of the sign regulations deprive such property of a privilege to post a sign for public view enjoyed by other properties in the vicinity that are under an identical classification. Freestanding signs are required to be located on private property unless required encroachment permit findings are made. Strict application of the requirement to install the freestanding sign on private property would deny this particular property the opportunity to clearly identify the address of this property. So as shown in this figure, alternative location 3 would be on private property, but not be visible, would not provide the visibility needed. And this is in coordination with Monterey Fire. Alternative location 2 would be on private property, but would not be visible due to the fence in this location here. Alternative 1 is in the public right-of-way, but there is a utility box in the ground, and therefore installation of a sign in that location would not be feasible. Only feasible location would be the existing landscape planter located in the public right-of-way on Mar Vista Drive. A clear identification of location of this apartment complex would help emergency vehicles and delivery trucks serving this site. Monterey Fire has also confirmed their preference for this location due to its high visibility. The second encroachment permit finding is that any sign encroachment granted under this subsection shall be subject to such conditions to ensure that the permit will not constitute a grant of special privileges. This finding is met. The property owner would be required to meet the special condition of approval 1, approval of an encroachment permit. Also, the apartment complex adjacent to the subject site at 3862 Mar Vista with the same zoning has an existing address sign located in the public right-of-way along Mar Vista. The proposed freestanding address sign would not be considered a grant of special privilege. Encroachment permit finding 3, a sign encroachment permit shall not be granted if the applicant's inability to post a sign on private property so that the message is viewable by the public could be avoided by an alternative development plan. And then the rest are ORs, so we're going with the top one. This finding is met. The proposed location of the sign in the public right-of-way is the most visible location for an address sign. Any other location on private property would not be visible enough to serve the purpose of identifying the property's address. As shown in the previous figure, an address sign in alternative location 1 would still be in the right of way and would be blocked by fencing. The second location's on private property, but would not be the most visible and could be missed. And alternative location 3 would be set too far back to be clearly visible. 4, the following conditions shall be imposed on all sign permit or sign encroachment permits. This finding is met. The freestanding address sign has been reviewed in compliance with the Monterey City Code. The city's Public Works Department has reviewed the location of the new address sign and has confirmed there would be no traffic or safety hazards. The proposed sign would be in compliance with Chapter 31. Sign and site guidelines as noted in the findings above. Staff recommends that the Architecture Review Committee approve the sign permit application for the retroactive approval of one freestanding sign at a multifamily apartment complex at Mar Vista Drive. Staff's available for questions. I don't think the applicant is here, but they were. You are. Okay, thank you.
I have one question.
Yes,
I think the old sign was in a very similar location, right?
it was, yeah,
It was, I mean, it was smaller, of course, but
Yes.
I mean, I live way up the street on Mar Vista, but anyway,
Correct.
so, okay, that's what I thought. Any other questions? Questions? No? Would you like to make a presentation?
I'll just say thank you on behalf of the owner.
I want to thank, hi, I'm sorry, Victoria Arroyo. On behalf of the owner, Greg Zimmerman, I just want to thank city staff for reviewing this in great length. I know it's been many, many months that we've been trying to work through this, and we've tried to find so many different alternate places to place the sign. And unfortunately, the options with this parcel are very, very challenging. As staff mentioned, the challenges that we faced were the windy road with no defined lanes, the blind corner at the top of the block, the property being built over 60 plus years ago with no setbacks, as you can see, and only one egress into the property itself. The hardest challenge was the majority of the property is actually located at least 10 feet below street level, which making signage very challenging, especially in one of the middle section there that was pointed out in the plans. We'd basically need to put up posts to erect a sign, and that would make it very indicative of a billboard. So I just want to agree with city staff and Monterey Fire that the additional optional proposed sites, they just don't work due to a myriad of different reasons. And I just want to thank you for your time and for your service and consideration of this project. We've got over 50 people living at this multi-residential complex, and I, for one, would be very happy if everyone received their mail, their deliveries, and we've certainly had emergency response at this location at least 3 times this calendar year alone. So I thank you very much for your consideration.
Any public comments?
And there are no attendees currently online.
Okay. Any discussion from the committee? No? Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve sign permit application SI-25-0107 for the retroactive approval of the one freestanding address sign for the existing multifamily building.
Super. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So approved.
That is approved and appealable to the Planning Commission with forms available online and in the planning office within 10 days.
Any updates from staff?
Sure. So just shortly, as noted in the report, we do have a couple items one item that's tentatively scheduled for our September 17th meeting. Also noted in the packet, excuse me, is 3 administrative architectural review permits and 1 administrative sign permit that was issued in the month of August. I did want to just, while we do have this group here, I believe we have 1 more meeting for the ARC scheduled in the month of September. Commissioner or Committee Member Hunter, I believe you're going to be gone after that meeting. You're leaving before that meeting. Okay. So thank you for letting us know. And so the reason I bring it up is because with that, we will be razor thin on a quorum. We'll have 4 members left, available for meetings. So what I will likely do probably after this meeting is I'll send out an email since Committee Member Polly is not present right now. But essentially, as you know, ARC meets twice a month with only 4 committee members available to meet in the upcoming months. It's going to be obviously we don't want to schedule meetings if we're not going to be able to get a quorum. So what I'll do is I'll send out over the next 2 months, the meeting dates that we have. And if we can get a consensus, we're happy to consolidate projects to just 1 meeting a month since we're going to be struggling to get a quorum for some of these other meetings. So if we'll probably just send out an email, if we can get just a little bit of a poll of attendance and who's available to attend which meetings, we'll see as staff which meetings we can move forward with and which ones don't really make sense to agendize items for. Ed, do you know when you're going to be back? I'm sure you told us.
So if you don't mind, that's fine. I will be back.
Good. Okay.
Please.
It would be, that's correct, on the 15th. So hopefully your fellow committee members will be courteous enough to pick October 1st then for the October meeting. Oh, well then there you go. You may be. We'll try to avoid it. We'll try to avoid that one since we know you're one delayed flight away from not making that, and then we already know the chair won't be present. So we'll shoot for the October 1st meeting, but I'll send all that out via email. Just wanted to give you guys. Yeah, perfect. Just want to give you guys a heads up so that we can kind of consolidate the agendas to make quorum happen. So that's all we got. Drop that again.